Neil Pettigrew is an experienced member of our club. Several times Neil has won the club's table topics contest and gone on to represent the club at area level. Tonight, he's sharing with us a bit of wisdom to help us all make the best of table topics with an educational presentation from the Bromley Speakers series, that's a series of manuals, on strategy for impromptu speaking. So in 10 to 15 minutes, with strategies for impromptu speaking, please welcome Neil Pettigrew.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Yes, I'm going to be talking about table topics. And we've got a lot of guests here tonight, and you might be thinking, what are table topics? Well, as our Toastmaster briefly mentioned, in the second half of every meeting, we have a table topics session. It's basically an impromptu speaking session, where various people are invited up to the front to speak for up to 2 minutes on a subject for which they have had no time to prepare at all. Why do we do it? What is the point of that, you might well ask? Well, for me personally, I found that doing table topics repeatedly made me more confident in the real world out there. If I was at work and suddenly put on the spot by the boss, or in tricky social situations, it all became a lot easier. So that, for me, is the main benefit of doing table topics. I'm going to suggest some tips and strategies for ways that you can answer a table topic. So you may like to take some notes as we go through. Or you may not like to take some notes, that's fine as well. And at the end of my presentation, we'll then have a Q&A session of about 3 or 4 minutes. So as I go through, if you have any questions, jot them down, and then at the end, you can ask them. Now, to begin, many people here will have done table topics at this club. How many people find table topics difficult? Just about everybody who's ever done one finds it difficult. That is the whole point. If they were easy, there'd be no point doing them. Well, the first one I ever did, I was completely rubbish. I lasted about 30 seconds and I just stood here, couldn't think of anything to say. I was just like a rabbit caught in the car headlights. But I kept coming back more and more, and believe it or not, eventually, on this journey of doing table topics, I got to a stage where I actually enjoy doing them. And hopefully some of you have reached that stage too, or will get to that stage. And you never know, you might even get to a stage where you are inspired enough to enter a table topics competition. There's one tip above all that I could give you if you want to be better at impromptu speaking at this club. Can anybody guess what I think is the single most important bit of advice I can give you?
Bullshit.
Bullshit. That might be one. I wouldn't think the most important, I would have thought. Okay, well, the single most important tip is to just keep coming here and doing them. The first one you do, you'll be terrified. Next one, slightly less terrified. So on and so forth until you become more relaxed and eventually become confident enough to actually answer the topic, stick to the topic, structure your speech, and your audience will be left gasping, thinking, wow, that sounds like a prepared speech. That's what you hope anyway. Here's my first tip as well. So a little psychological trick that I use. Other people may do as well. You're sitting in a room, it's a table topic session, you listen carefully to the topic, and then suddenly you hear your name called out. And then something happens up here. The fear and the nervousness suddenly overcomes you, and your brain seizes up. Your mind goes blank. So what I train myself to do is when I feel that nervousness and fear building up, I I just think, okay, this is a normal part of the process, to be fearful and nervous. I'll just accept it, and I'll park all those nerves on this imaginary shelf up here, and then I'll focus on the subject that I've been given. It's just a psychological trick, but it works for me. Maybe it will work for other people. I'm going to give you 6 strategies you can use when you answer the table topic. You're given a topic to speak on. You come up here, you make a comment or an opinion. What I've seen happen so many times is people make that first comment and then they dry up. They think, well, that's all I can think of to say on the topic. And then they go and sit down. But any comments you make here, any opinion you state, you can always develop it. Doesn't matter how simple that comment is, you can always develop it. In your mind, just think, what did I just say? Oh yeah, and then embellish that point, because you're trying to fill 2 minutes. Another strategy which I use a lot in table topics is the for and against strategy. You're given a topic to discuss, so you can see it from both points of view. You can start by saying, the good things about this topic are blah blah blah, but the things against this topic are blah blah blah. And then move to the middle of the room, perhaps make a decision on which side of the fence you're going to come down on, and blow me down, you've filled your 2 minutes. Marvellous. Another strategy you can use is called past, present and future. You can divide your response into 3 sections. A couple of weeks ago I was asked to talk about diets. Well, I know nothing about diets because I've never been on one. But for example, you could say, well, last year I tried diet A, and I put on a stone. This year I've tried diet B, I put on 2 stones. So next year I'm going to try diet C, blah blah blah. And just develop each of those points, and once again, amazing, you've filled the 2 minutes. Another strategy I've seen used effectively is to bring in all the 5 senses. Taste, smell, sight, etc. Whatever you're describing, you don't run out of ways to describe it. If you're talking about diets and you're talking about a particular item of food, say a sausage, describe what it looks like, what it tasted like, what did it sound like when it was sizzling as it was being cooked, what was the texture of it when you ate it. So it's a way of exploring that topic and covering all angles and filling your 2 minutes and giving the impression that you are completely in control. Another strategy is one that has been mentioned earlier by Tony. If you're really struggling and you cannot think of a response, okay, lie. Make something up. Chances are we're not going to know whether you are telling the truth or not. However, only do that as a last resort. I mean, that's fine here in this club, but out in the real world, if you're suddenly put on the spot with a tricky question by your boss, or by your wife or husband, then lying is probably not the best way to get out of that situation. So sincerity is better. Making something up is okay as a last resort here in the club. And the final last resort, if you can't even think of a good lie, then just talk about something completely different. You're given a topic, your mind's gone blank. Oh, I'm going to talk about what I did today, in the shops. If you're in a table topics competition, you will lose marks for that, and you're not going to win any contests for doing that. So again, that is a last resort. So those are just some strategies that I use. Other people have lots of different strategies, I'm sure. Now here are some tips. As you're delivering your topic, here are some tips on how you can improve your delivery. Probably one of the most important ones is to remember to pause. Because when you pause, it serves several purposes. It makes the sentence you just said sound really important. You can say the most trivial thing like, tonight I'm wearing shoes. And that pause makes it seem as if I've said something significant. Another purpose of it is it gives your audience time to catch up with what you're saying. Because audiences don't like to work too hard, they don't have to think quickly. And also, it gives the impression that you're in control. If you're nervous, you generally don't pause. But if you can remember to pause, it gives the impression that you really know what you're doing. Another tip as you're delivering your table topic, remember to breathe regularly. When we get nervous, we forget to breathe. When we don't breathe, the brain doesn't get oxygen, and then we run out of ideas. Engage the audience. Ask them questions. That is such a brilliant trick which I use so many times. When I run out of things to say, I just ask the audience a question. When I had that question about diets, I just said, who's been on a diet ever? And took it from there. And audiences love being asked questions. It involves them in the speech. End your 2-minute table topic with a little summary. And as soon as I see that red light go on, I immediately launch into my conclusion. So, ladies and gentlemen, therefore, what I think is blah, blah, blah. And I wrap the 2-minute speech up, usually about 2 minutes 15, 2 minutes 20. And a final tip is there will be days when you just struggle, you can't think of anything, you've had a bad day at work, you're tired, whatever. If that happens, it happens to us all sometimes. We have a bad day when you just can't answer that topic. It doesn't matter. You'll get a round of applause anyway. Don't beat yourself up about it, just come back to another meeting next time and have another go. And the next time will be easier. So just to conclude that vast list of tips and strategies, there were tips about nervousness, tips about how to respond to the topic, and tips about how to make your delivery seem more controlled, and also some ideas about how you can benefit from doing table topics. Because basically, if you become comfortable doing table topics, you will feel a lot more comfortable and confident outside in the real world. Now that's the end of my presentation. What we're going to do now is go into a question and answer session just for a few minutes to see if any of you have got any questions you would like to ask about table topics. Has anyone got a question about how to answer a table topic? Who's at the back? Jenny, yes?
Can you give an example of how to embellish and make one idea take a bit longer?
That is a good question. Well, imagine I just said, I might diet, so I might come up here and say, oh, I've never been on a diet, so I can't answer that. And then think, I've got to sit down. Okay, so I've never been on a diet. Well, why haven't I been on a diet? Why is it some people need to go on diets and others don't? Is it because they exercise? So whatever you say, it's difficult to give an example, really, and that is an example, but obviously every sentence is going to be unique, so it's a different situation. But, I mean, I believe you can embellish anything if you just think about it in a slightly, take it off at a tangent. Whatever you said can be described in more detail. Anybody else? Susan?
Is it acceptable if you get stuck on the question to change the topic?
What, halfway through you mean?
Yeah, or even at the beginning if you can't answer the question you're given.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you want to stick to the topic. That's what you're trying to train yourself to do. You're trying to train yourself to focus on that topic and give a sensible, structured answer to that question. But of course it doesn't always happen like that. You're struggling sometimes, and as I said, as a last resort, sometimes you just go off at a complete tangent and answer something else. But if you can discipline yourself to say, no, I'm not going to go off on another topic, I'm going to wait till those cogs start turning, I'm going to take a deep breath, get some oxygen in the brain, get some ideas, I'm going to stick with that topic. But yeah, if you really have run out of ideas, change the topic. Yeah. David?
What's As far as you're concerned, what's the worst topic you've ever been faced with? How did you get around it?
The worst topic I've ever been given is anyone that I'm given by Martin Langdon. He comes up with the most awkward, embarrassing topic. Once he asked me to speak about Brazilian wax. I mean, how do you answer that? Royston.
Who's got Martin Langford's phone number, please? We've got Martin Langford's phone number, please.
Yeah, where is he? He's not here. John.
So how does one actually prepare?
That is a good question, because you could say, well, you can't prepare because you don't know what the topic is going to be. You can prepare by remembering that you're going to try and have a little structure, have a little beginning and a summary at the end. You know, keep that in the back of your mind, that you're not just going to ramble. You could prepare by thinking of some of those tips and strategies, like especially that psychological trick at the beginning, because it's that rush of nervousness that defeats so many people. They walk up here and their mind has gone into fight or flight mode. And what the brain does is it removes all extraneous information, because you've got to concentrate. Either I'm going to fight that saber-toothed tiger or I'm going to run away. And part of the information that the brain has disposed of is the topic that you've just heard. And people come up here and they say, what was the topic? And even though they had concentrated on it. So that is something you could perhaps practice in the second session tonight, is trying to put those nerves up on this imaginary shelf to allow yourself to be more relaxed when you deliver your topic. Mr. Topics Master. Mr. Topics.